like what to speak about, and she said, we were talking about what she beautifully wrote on Facebook. I'm sure a lot of you read it, and how we don't understand what's going on. Like last week we heard this baby, that was born prematurely after the shooting attack, and we're like asking ourselves, what's going on? And she was telling me, like, it's true, people, they question their emunah, their bitachon, It's her father, can tell you which one it is. But the point is, we're asking ourselves questions in our faith, really questions like, what's going on? Why is it happening? And even the bigger question, where is HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Where is he? How can he let this happen? How can he let something so terrible happen? And it's really interesting that Parasha of next can kind of give us a hint of an answer. There's no answer, by the way, but we can get closer to the answer. In Parasha of next week, Shemot, we see that Moshe Rabbeinu is in big discussions with HaKadosh Baruch Hu because the Jewish people are suffering. It's terrible what's going on. Paro is like killing babies. Like I think it was 150 babies in the morning, slaughtered them to be in the blood of the babies in their bath, and 150 at night. So the people were like suffering. The mother were crying. The father were destroyed, and they have to be in slavery. It was a tough, tough life. And then Moshe Rabbeinu has a revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Hashem tells him, go talk to the Jewish people. Go tell them, I'm going to come, and I'm going to redeem them. I'm going to save them. Go tell them. And Moshe is asking a question, very interesting question. He's asking Hashem, but Hashem, I'm going to go, and I'm going to tell them that we're going to redeem them, but what is your name? What name should I give them? Because when I'm going to go and give your name, when I'm going to give that name, the Jewish people are going to ask me, we don't know him. And Hashem told him, tell them, it's the God, it's the God of their fathers, right? It's the God of their fathers who's coming to redeem them. But Moshe is asking, what is your name? What name should I give them? And Hashem has a more interesting answer. Hashem says, I brought it so after I can share it, whoever wants, Eyeh Asher Eyeh. I will be, if we want what? I will be. I will be what I will be. What type of an answer is that? Moshe is asking him for a name. A name is a noun, right? And Hashem is answering with a verb. I will be what I will be. What is going on? Like, what's really the discussion that they're having? Moshe is really asking something else from Hashem. Moshe is asking Hashem, of course, if it's the God of their fathers, obviously their fathers gave them the name, right? The father gave you the name of the God. So they knew the name of Hashem. But Moshe is asking, they're going to ask me, the Jewish people, who is this God who let us suffer? Where was he for the hundreds of years that we're in slavery? Where was he when Paro was slaughtering children? Where was he when our babies were killed and drowned in the Nile? Where is this God? Who is he really? We don't know him. He's not here when we need him, right? He's not here when we suffer. Where is this God? Who is he? That's really the question Moshe is asking Hashem. It's like, when he's asking for his name, he's asking, where are you? What name should I give them? Because if it's the name they know, then where were you? It's true. Where was Hashem? Last week we can ask ourselves, when the baby was killed, where was he? Of course Hashem is always here. And the answer is very deep. Hashem answers, Hashem answers, Eyeh Asher Eyeh, I will be what I will be. What is Hashem answering? Hashem understood very well the question that Moshe Rabbeinu is asking. And we even see that question in the book of Eov. We see that Eov, the whole book is about his suffering, right? He suffers and he has horrible things like his wife and his kids and Hashem Yishmor, everyone dies and he loses his wealth, and it's like a horrible story. You don't want, if you're depressed, do not get close to that book. It's terrible, right? And at the end, he's asking, but where are you, Hashem? It's not meant to be. It's just a letter of the Rebbe there that I want to hopefully read. And he's asking, where are you, Hashem? And Hashem, he comes up with the conclusion that Hashem is a mystery. We cannot comprehend Hashem. Hashem is something that is infinite, and we are finite. We are finite people. Let's think about it. Imagine there's like tiny, tiny people living on my hand. And I come with my finger and I touch my hand. They're going to look at my finger and they're going to say, wow, look at that finger. Oh, it's big. but they don't understand, they cannot comprehend, and they cannot realize that there is actually a big hand and a head and a body, right? They only see the tip of my finger. We cannot comprehend and understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's frustrating, but it's the truth.
Why does Hashem make it that way?
Very good, because I guess, that's my guess. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to discover Him. He put us into this world to actually do the work. It would be too easy if He gives us everything He wants. Hashem wants, that recognition. He wants us to look for Him in the world.
So He is discoverable.
He is, but
By Mashiach.
exactly, it's an infinite light, meaning you'll always, catch up until Mashiach comes, and then it will be revealed. But up until then,
A little bit we can.
exactly, it's only a little bit. So we can try and break our heads to try to understand everything, but the truth is that we can't. Sometimes the answer is there. Something happens, and we understand why. Look what happened with the El Al flight. A few weeks ago, I'm sure you've all heard that story. Yeah. The El Al flight was stuck in New York, and they were supposed to arrive in Israel before Shabbat. Finally, they went, they were in the air when they told people we're not going to arrive in Israel during Shabbat. So the people made a huge brawl. They started screaming in the airplane. They had to land in Greece. They had to call, of course, Chabad of Greece, and Chabad made the magic that they always do. They were able to set up a hotel. They were able to host people, to bring food. People arrived. They were so impressed. They told the Chabad people, how can we help you? And they said, it's been years we're trying to build a mikveh, but we don't have enough money. So what did the people do? They all donated, and they paid for the mikveh. Wow. So in this story, you see, okay, what a pain. We didn't get to New York, to Israel on time. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted us to stop in Greece because they needed a mikveh. Wow. In that story, it was clear. You see it. But the truth is, you don't always see it. You don't always see it. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it takes perspective. Imagine you're at LAX, flying home. My dream.
Amen. Me too, amen.
So first you're in the airplane, you're looking outside. Okay, you see the guys taking all the luggages and throwing them right in the airplane. And then the airplane starts going, and then you see the airport, and then the airplane you take off, and then you see Los Angeles, then you see the ocean, then you see way too much of the world. Sometimes in life we just need some time, to see the whole picture. Right now I'm only seeing the luggage being thrown in the airplane, but maybe sometimes with time and there's an understanding. Look at Yosef. It was a parasha mamash of last week, this week. Yosef is seeing his brothers. They're finally in front of him. He can actually punish them, right? They sold him as a slave. They told the dad that he was dead, right? It's so mean what they did. He can, they're right here. He's the viceroy, almost the king of Egypt, right? He can do anything he wants with them. But he tells them, the first thing he tells them is what? You did not send me here. Hashem sent me. And thanks that Hashem sent me, I was able to save the whole world from hunger, right? It means from the beginning, he said, sometimes in life, you didn't see the big picture. We don't see gratification right away. That's what we like, humans. We like to be gratified, to see the results right away. But sometimes it's years and years later that it comes. Years and years later that we understand. And it's hard to accept. But the secret is what? It's in the answer that Hashem gives to Moshe. Heyeh Mashayeh. Rashi is explaining this. The first thing Rashi is explaining is that what Hashem really says to Moshe is that don't worry. I will be with them in this suffering, in this exile, as I will be with them in the future exiles, in the future times that they will be suffering. And the Rebbe goes even deeper into that. The Rebbe says that what Hashem is really saying, the message is that, yes, I am infinite. Yes, you do not understand what's going on. But I am with you in the suffering. Your tears are my tears. Your suffering is my suffering. You're not alone. Yes, we don't get it, but I am here with you. And yet, I will be with you. I am here. If we're in exile, if we're in Galut, Hashem is in Galut with us. If we're suffering, He's with us. If we're crying, He's crying with us.
It kind of gives me a memory of, if you're speak training your child, I had to do it. Your kid is bawling their eyes out. He's so mad at you, but you know it's for his good that you are going to sleep.
It's an amazing example. It's exactly that. You're here with the kid. Sometimes, let's say, chas v'shalom, I remember my son.
Literally.
But it's so beautiful, it's true. Like one time my son fell and he cut his tongue. Mama, it was horrible. It was like in half, it was like, but oh Hashem, I got to the hospital and I was holding his hand and they were, stitching it. And I'm there. What else can I do? But when he was crying, trust me, I was crying. And sometimes, how many times that has happened to you? That something like sad or you're not like well and you need, we were talking about that in the car, that one of your friends needed you. Sometimes someone needs you and the fact that you're with them, you don't have to go through the same thing, right? Just the fact that they know that you're with them makes them feel better.
Yeah, if you listen to them.
Do you listen? You're not alone. Exactly. Yeah. So yes, unfortunately, me too, I don't have an answer tonight because there's no, complete answer. But just let's remember that Hashem is with us. We're not alone. Now, how can you see Hashem in your life a little bit more? I just wanted to give a few tips, and then I have a letter of the Rebbe that I read that was like, for me, it actually gives, it's like, we said before Gimel time was that the Rebbe already answered every question that we have. I felt tonight that I had my answer. But first, let me give you a few tips. The first one is that you need to see Hashem more in your life. Because the problem when things like that happen, why do we question our faith, our beliefs? Because at that moment, we're so hurt, our feelings are overwhelming, that we don't see Hashem in our lives at that second, right? We don't see Hashem where He fits in that picture. How could Hashem want something that bad, right? It's hard for us to accept and understand. So one way to do it, to accept that, is to actually train ourselves to always see Hashem in everything that happens to us. How? By saying thank you to Hashem. For example, saying a bracha. What's bracha? Thank you, Hashem, that I have water. Thank you that I can drink. Some people cannot drink. Thank you, I leave the bathroom, I say Hashem Yatzah. What is Hashem Yatzah? Thank you, Hashem, for my organs, for my body. Every bracha helps us get closer to Hashem. But help us really have a gratefulness, to be grateful. Appreciation. And when you're used to actually see Hashem everywhere, even when things happen, you still know that the majority of what's happening in your life and around you is positive, is good. And that helps you to actually be strong, even when the time when it's not revealed good. So that's one idea. Another idea is to develop awareness. I'll give you a very simple idea. You're in your car in the morning, and let's say your car doesn't stop. You can say, oh man, and you're like super upset. Or you can say, thank you, Hashem. I know that you're the one who doesn't want my car to start. Now I don't know why right now, and it sucks. But it's you, Hashem, who did it. Once you use and train yourself, that even the little things that bother you, you realize and you accept that it's Hashem who sent them to you. It actually trains you and prepares you for Chas v'Shalom when we hear things like tragedies like this, and we also accept that it's Hashem, even if we don't see and understand Him. And I know we had a long talk and you're going to speak, so I'm just going to go quick. I'm going to skip the rest. I'm going to just say, just to read what the Rebbe said and then tell you a little story. The Rebbe says something very interesting. There is a person who wrote to him, and that person wanted help because he was he doubted himself, he doubted Hashem, he was not sure that what he was doing was wrong, kind of got lost, with his emunah and his bitachon. And the Rebbe gave him a long answer where he said, I'm disappointed. How can you even, question HaKadosh Baruch Hu? You have to believe, you have to trust. But he gave him tips, what to do when you're actually in that situation. And what are the tips? One of them is to study Hasidut and to do Farbringen with people who have positive energies that can inspire us. So tonight we got that. I was like, wow, that's mamash on point.
Excellent. Yeah, wow.
The second thing the Rebbe said is to always increase joy in our lives. Always try to be happier. Right. Don't let, when you feel like you have these bad energies, when you feel that you're down, don't let it happen. Don't even let it start. You feel it starting, it's happening, think about something happy in your life. Think about something that you just got, something you're grateful for. Even your child, just look at him. That will make you happy. Seriously. We always have something that we can be happy for. And another thing he told this person to do, and it's interesting because it's not like a Chabad specific like book, but it's Sha'ar HaBitachon, and the book is Chovot HaLevavot. It's a book, basically a sefer that works on your midot. And all one chapter is how to build your emunah and how to build like your bitachon. How to build that. And there's a lot of tips, a lot of ideas, but I read it and it's all coming back to being thankful, being aware of Hashem around you, and really looking for the good and the positive. Because once you have a balance of that, then trust me, the rest is just coming along, and it's going to give you strength for when Chas v'Shalom there's not a balance of that. And the story I wanted to tell you, and I'm just going to let Abigail next. It's a sad story, but also powerful. It's a story that happened in France. And there was this person who just had to be hosted. He didn't have a place where to sleep. He was coming from a different country. Finally, someone suggested that couple that live in like this small city in France, and he went to their home to sleep for the night. And then when he was walking in the house, he kind of got lost, and he wanted to open the door, and everyone was like, "No, don't open that door." So the guy was like, curious, like, we love that. When we tell you don't, that's when we want to know. So he wanted to know, so the father saw that he was interested. He said, "Okay, I'll tell you the story." He said, we'll live in the city for a while now, and for years there was no mikveh. There was no mikveh in the city, and it was really difficult. And the dream of my wife was to have a mikveh, but it's very expensive to build a mikveh. So we tried everything. They didn't have an airplane that could stop in there. There's no airport there. We tried everything, and there was no way we could actually build a communal mikveh. So we got an idea. We decided that it's going to be our Mesirus Nefesh. We started saving every penny that we could. We bought less food, less clothes. We didn't buy anything for the house. We saved everything that we could save. And they saved and they saved and they saved the money. And finally, they had enough money after a few years to build a mikvah in their home. And this is what we did, the father tells him. They built a mikvah in the home, and the mikvah is right behind that door. But year passed, and everyone was so happy to have a mikvah. The woman would come, and it was like his wife was so happy to be able to do that mikvah. And they had a child, he was 3 years old.
Oh my God.
One day, the child opened the door. There was no one to look for, and unfortunately, not a good ending. So the father were completely crushed. They said, "How is it possible? So much Mesirut Nefesh, so much work, so much effort, so much. We gave everything to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for years. They didn't eat. They didn't they ate, but they really strangled themselves. And that's the reward of HaKadosh Baruch Hu." Now you can imagine, because they were known for what they did, people came for Shiva, and rabbis came to talk to them even after the Shiva, and they went to this rabbi, and everyone who would talk to them, but no one would give them nechama. No one was able to console them. No one was able to give them an answer why this tragedy happened. How? How can you explain something like that? It was so difficult for them. And one night, the dad and the mom, they went to sleep. And the dad starts dreaming. He sees his son who comes in the dream. And the son tells his dad, "Dad, I was allowed to come talk to you because your suffering is really hurting me in Shamayim. So I was allowed to come talk to you to explain what happened. I want you to know that I'm one of the Baal Tosfot. I'm one of the big neshamot, and back in the days even of the Talmud, I'm one of these big neshamot, of these big souls. And I was a very, very precious neshama. But when the Crusaders arrived, they killed me. And the way they killed me, they desecrated my body. And it didn't have any tahara, any purity. It didn't have any burial. It didn't have anything that was done correctly. Now for 500 years, my neshama was stuck in Shamayim because they were waiting for a special family that could actually handle me. and they were waiting for a mikveh that was pure and holy enough to give me my tahara. And I couldn't find that. And he said, Daddy, it's you that were you and Mom that were chosen, and it's that mikveh that you built. It was so pure and so holy. That's why. And to prove you that what I say is true, Mom is gonna have a daughter this year, and she's gonna do a big, I believe it was Afrashat Chala, or when it's gonna happen, there's gonna be a big Afrashat Chala and everything. The father wakes up like trembling like crazy. At the same time, his wife wakes up, and she said, God, I don't understand. And I had this weird dream that I have to bake challah, and there was a baby in the dream.
Wow,
And that year, she gave birth to a
I
dad.
have chills. Oh my god.
So this is the story that I heard that is like verified story. I'm not telling you, like, you know, verified story in France. The story is like,
I have chills.
I don't think there's anything else we need to explain. Sometimes we don't understand, we don't get it, but it's amazing neshamot and Hashem, trust Him. Right now, we're only seeing a part of a puzzle. It's like a 5,000 piece puzzle, and we only have a few pieces. Bezrat Hashem.